Today on In the Case Geek Culture, we have a Tale of Two Krangs. Which one is which? Who knows? One is the Playmates original, the other is the super cyborg Android Krang from Super7. Bet you can't guess. So, Super7 a couple years back decided to do the Super Cyborg series where they made a bunch of different larger figures from lines, and thank God they did Krang, because they had this excellent line already going with it. Now they didn't make it to scale with the rest of the line, because like the Krang that comes with it is much larger than this and spooky. And then this guy would really be like, I don't know, probably 25 inches or higher. And then you have the original Playmates one that came out way back in the day, which I have the box of. Let's cut to that real quick. So you can see right there, I have the box. I have it up on a shelf as a display piece. Because I just like to keep them in the case separate from it. And I really like the box art. I thought it was really cool. So that's the original box art from the front. I'm not going to climb up there. It's up there. So I'm not doing it. I'm too fat. So back to these. I just really thought it'd be cool to pull these out and kind of compare them, because they stayed pretty true to it, but they took some liberties as well, of course. You kind of have to. I mean, it's kind of what they had to do with all of their designs. Super7's TMNT gets a lot of trash talked about them. I don't know why. I feel like they're awesome. Their price point I felt was good for their size and their quality. Sure, there were some joint issues, but I mean, for Christ's sake, I pay $100 for a Dragon Ball Z figure that half the time they have hip issues and stuff too. NECA falls apart and chips paint. So, I mean, really the only ones we ever had that were good were the old Playmates and the old Toy Biz. So, I mean, even Marvel Legends have their problems, so we can't get too crazy about, like, nitpicking everything. I mean, I guess you can, it's your money, but for their price and for what they were doing, I loved them. So let's kind of take a look at these guys real quick, and we'll move them around, see some of their features, and go from there. So, I mean, of course, we have the original Playmates. This bad boy is beautiful. I need to clean him, actually. Whenever I moved, I had a lot of my figures out in the open, not behind glass, so they kind of got smooth on them, like dust and stuff, and I haven't had time to clean them because I'm currently working on building and unboxing my room. But he's really famous for having his antenna broken off and missing. Thankfully, mine doesn't have that issue. I love his orange eyes. He has some paint rub and stuff. This thing was loved. Who didn't love their Krang? But he has some paint rubs. He has his orange eyes, which are awesome. He has all these paint details up here. He has some dirt. I should clean this thing before I did this, but whatever. He's got his big ass arms. His whole 5 points of articulation. You know, it's fun. He's got his undies, all these little stickers for all of his little cybernetic joints and stuff like that. He's got his stitched together arms and the back piece. And you know, this is fun because this is actually like a vinyl figure, very soft. And then, of course, more of his belt that comes around to the veinless Krang. If you have a vein Krang in here, you got the wrong one, guys. Let's just pull the whole damn thing off. Let's kill this guy. But yeah, that's the Krang that comes with him. He has no veins. So a lot of people mistake this as the regular Krang. It's not. I keep saying, my wife pointed this out the other day. She was like, you know what you say a lot whenever you make your videos? And I said, what do I say anyways? Because I know I say that a lot. She said, no, you say, I said, well, whatever. I guess it's better than the word like or something else. I try not to. I was smacking for a while, and I was like, God, I gotta quit that. So I guess I focused on that. 1991, Mirage Studios Playmates Toys. All these sculpted other nano parts, painted. These fluorescent red-orange shoes. Like, look how cool they look. It's super cool. And then we have this big boy. Let's change the camera angle for him to look at him. Today's background feature, The Uncanny X-Men Days of Future Fun by Jeffrey Brown. It's a fun little kid's book. Purchased it. My wife and I were at Books A Million, saw it, and she's like, you want that? And I said, I do. And so she actually bought that for me because she is a sweet lady. Back to Super7s. So, of course, he has his tuning fork, which is a lot sharper and more defined, which is awesome. He's got more sharp and defined eyes, but they're a darker red. Same with his mouth. I kind of like the fluorescent mouth. We'll do a side-by-side comparison here in a minute. Just want to continue talking about the features of this one first. So, with these, you have the same points of articulation, but you also have wrist articulation. So they call it 7 points, when it's honestly just 5 with some shit that you can swap out. His diaper looks different, but he has all this still. He has venting in the back with no stickers here. He doesn't come with any stickers, but they did paint a lot of this chrome, which is sweet. His circuitry, they actually painted all of it down with it. We'll see that in the comparisons. Has all of the stitching still. And he has these features here where you can pop them off, pop on a hand, pop off the claw, pop on another hand. And so his accessories are the exact same as the, son of a bitch, the Android body that was in the normal size that came out, I think, like 95 or something like that for the regular Playmates line that was normal size. And so they just remade them, and they're blue like this too, kind of like the European, all the European weapons were this kind of color blue, which makes them expensive for some reason. I don't get it. I don't get who's the rarity. I don't care. They were not rare. I don't care who you are. You're an idiot. So this pulls apart. Unlike the trap door, it doesn't come with one. It has a much larger window, obviously. But it pulls apart, and inside of him, he has the little hamster that runs inside of him. How fun is that, right? Has all these widgets and zingers and stuff, as opposed to just the silver mirror background on the inside. He doesn't have the little, I'll show you, but there's a sticker in the front here that's really tiny and was always a bitch to put on. And he didn't have the 2 glows either, but yeah, you get the little pull downs and all that. You get the circuitry coming up. I mean, but this is so much fun. But the Super Cyborg series, all of them, they would pull apart. They even made a clear version of this Android. I refuse to pay $80 for just a clear version of the same thing that I got. I'm just that guy. It ain't me. But this Krang here is veiny and ugly, and he has articulated arms. But pretty cool, right? And you just set him back in here. He has a little spot to poke into the hole there, but it honestly doesn't work worth the shit. Let's be serious. And then just sandwich back on his stuff. There we go. And click it back into place, and there he is. So you also get, the hell was that? Oh, there's a little cover here that just came off. That's the first time that's ever happened. Interesting. That is completely loose. I guess I'm going to have to glue that back on. What the fuck? I was just talking about how good a quality you were, Super7. You failed. We get these little claws. You get the mace on the chain, Morning Star, whatever they call it. And you get like the little walkie-talkie radio thing. And it's cool, but, you know, what ifs. You've seen how I display it. I like to just have his chain and his claw. But let's flip around and just do some comparisons one-to-one, and then we'll get them back into the case, because they are actually both in the case. So we can start from the top here. If you look, the Super7 is a lot sharper, has longer cords and cables, and like I pointed out, his stuff is way more red with Super7 versus the neon of the 90s. I prefer the neon of the 90s. Same thing with his hands. They're darker red. And these are neon, and they're not painted. See how those are painted? And his cables here, see how they might just be rubbed off. I don't know. I've played with this shit like crazy. But they're all the way painted there. His stitching is more pronounced on the Super7. And they're double instead of the single across there. You see that? See how it's one line across? These, it's like they printed them on both sides and stuck them together. I guess it made it cheaper. His wrists they do turn on this old one. So he does have 7 points, not just 5, but his arms are out versus in. So he takes up a lot more space. Like I said, his diodes and stuff like that, stickers versus painted on. Now here's that bitch of a sticker that I was talking about. That little bitty strip, man. I remember like dying putting that on. And then these two little headlights, I guess you can call them. And they didn't put them on there because they were smart. And, you know, the Krang's obviously different. I mean, come on now. Then here, they painted his knees. Here they did not. That's a weird choice. Or they did everything else. See, so they made it stick to the stitching here, and they did that too. But if you look, the stitching's further on the inside. They kind of painted that together. They separated that, so that's nice. Keep on turning. See, he doesn't have all this stickers here on this side like on the original. Boom. His exhaust vents are different, and it comes with these tubes. All this is white with the sticker, and all this is painted, including that top part there. If you look at his goggles, I didn't notice this until just now. These are thin, and they have like a binding piece. Those are not. They're just a flat piece. But see, his tuning forks are also a lot more pronounced. His shoes, same thing, but they didn't paint the top of these. Vintage did. Super7. Now that I'm looking you over, you kind of botched this a little bit, to be honest with you. You know, I love you as a company, but yeah, it's kind of shitty, to be honest with you. I didn't notice the legs either. Now he just looks like he has bottom of a condom on his leg, whereas that looks like a boot. Prophylactic. He is now known as Prophylactic Krang. He's just a big condom. That's a big condom body. These yellows are different here. See? Yeah. They have two on the original, one over here. That's some interesting choices. And then these buttons, they go in, whereas these pop out. Oh, and they didn't paint them. See, that didn't get painted either. They did on these. So, okay, that was intentional. Now we know. They didn't paint this circuitry either right here. But then also, you know, you get the door here. You don't get the door there. But I think that's part of because it pops open. They took the arrow off the blue here, put it here, and then they just squared that off like some Aztec stuff. But, I mean, that's really about it. Pretty sweet, right? So, there's not really any posing this dude. Let's just get them into the case and have a good night. Here's something funny. I went and I glued the blue piece back on, and I go to pull his hand off, and I fucking hit his thing on my windshield, or my window glass, and it broke off his fucking antenna on the new one. What an asshole. So there they are in the case. We got the original with the original line. We got the Super7 with the Super7 remake of the original line. See what I mean by he's not to scale? I mean, Gorilla is as big as he is, but it's still cool. Look at him just being a butthole right behind Duncan Don, which that is such a sweet figure. If you don't have him, I suggest to get him. I might review him. I got so much to review, guys. It's insane. And there's old regular dude. So it's too bad Playmates couldn't carry on the remaster. That just pisses me off too. I spent all that money on this stuff, and then the other version of it. Look here. There they are, all 6 of them. And I was expecting the line to keep going with like Bebop and Rocksteady. Guess what? Playmates lost it, so no, we're not. No, we're not getting it. How cool would that have been if Super7 did him? Fucking Super7 too. Like, why didn't you just keep going, guys? Taking like a year between each thing. It just, I don't know. It's a big fail. I feel like a lot of people fail in Ninja Turtles. But anyways, let's call it a night. Please like and follow, share. I would appreciate it. Let's get this out there. Let's have some fun. Start a good community of geek culture here. So, like and follow. Look at this stupid little Krang. Isn't that cool too? Like and follow.